Hey everybody, good evening. My name is Bill Holmes. Welcome to tonight's edition of ProjectManagementForum.net. As you can look in the background over my shoulder here, you can see some beautiful lights out the window. I'm actually in downtown Detroit working this week, and I'm at the Renaissance Center where I've got a beautiful view of the Windsor, Ontario skyline across the river. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about something different. I get a lot of questions when I teach project management classes about change control, configuration management, traceability, and what all that really means. And so what we're going to do over the next couple of sessions is kind of walk through logically at a fairly high level. We're not going to do traceability matrices or anything like that. But at a high level and a conceptual level, we're going to walk through the basic and component pieces of it so that you'll have a sense for what we mean when we talk about that stuff. And let me say that if you read the definition of configuration management, for example, in the PMBOK, the definition's a little challenging. And it's also challenging because configuration management is actually a term of art in several different industries. So, for example, if you were going to talk about configuration management and you were talking about like building an airplane, most people would assume that configuration management means that all of the component pieces come together so that when the airplane, wings get to the fuselage, they actually connect. Configuration management means something different if you're a cybersecurity expert, because if you're a cybersecurity expert, configuration management can generally mean are all of your systems loaded to the gold standard of whatever software you're running, the most virus protected version of it. So you got the challenge of sort of understanding what these terms mean, and then you got the broader issue of you may be as a project manager dealing with people of different disciplines, and they might have a slightly different definition of what's a term of art in project management. And so what we're going to do is we're going to sort of logically walk through beginning with the requirements and how the requirements then lead you to through the traceability matrix, the features of the product you're delivering. We're going to talk about how that traceability matrix, in fact, is the foundational piece for change control and configuration management. We're going to go through all of that stuff. And let me also say that one of the things we're going to start with is the requirements piece itself. Now, before we get into the very first lesson, this is going to be focused on predictive projects. So when you start to talk about projects, basically they fall into two broad categories. A lot of people like to mix in the term, agile with waterfall, and that's not incorrect. But when you talk about projects, I like to think of them in different terms. I like to think about a predictive project. That is something that I know what I'm going to build before I've even done the first bit of work. So think about building a house. A house is a very predictive project in most instances. You look at a pair of blueprints, you decide, or a set of blueprints, you decide exactly what you are going to put in the house. You know where the bedrooms go, you know where the bathroom's going to go, you know what color the walls are going to be painted, you know how many outlets are going to go in every room, you sign off on it, and then the builder builds the house. That's a very predictive project because at the end of the day, the house better look like those blueprints or you got a problem with the builder. Adaptive projects are a little bit different. Adaptive projects are those projects where you think that you need something, but you're not really sure the right way to do it. And so let's talk about an example of that. An example of that might be I want a web-based interface for my online business, right? And so I might have some broad categories of requirements. I might want it to look good. I want my company logo on it. I might want the ability to process payment. I might want the ability to process orders, etc. But at the end of the day, I really don't have a picture exactly of what I want it to look like, and I'm hoping that the developer will help me to come up with what the most slick-looking website is that also meets all my needs. And so in that instance, that's an adaptive project because you don't know exactly what you want yet. You think you have broad swaths of categories of requirements, but you really can't do like you can with a house where I've got blueprints and I want exactly that, and in 18 months I got exactly that. So that's the difference. So we've got a predictive project, which you know what you're going to build. You got an adaptive project where you're not quite sure. And to simplify the discussion of change control, configuration management, and traceability, we're going to focus on this as if it is a predictive project, meaning that we have the requirements done up front, and then we get agreement on what the features are, and then we build the project. Okay? So the first thing we're going to talk about in the next lesson is going to be requirements. All right, thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great night.